Good afternoon, everyone. कबीर जी ने क्या खूब कहा है, ज्यों तिल माही तेल है ज्यों चकमक में आग, ज्यों तिल माही तेल है ज्यों चकमक में आग, तेरा साईं तुझ में है जो जाग सके तो जाग, जो जाग सके तो जाग। कबीर जी के यह शब्द दरअसल बहुत उपयुक्त है, क्योंकि हर एक इंसान के भीतर कोई ना कोई ऐसा कौशल्य छिपा हुआ होता है जो उनको दूसरों से अलग बनाता है। इसी छिपे हुए कौशल्य को बाहर लाना शिक्षण का एक सच्चा उद्देश्य है। स्वामी विवेकानंद ने तो यहाँ तक कहा है कि एजुकेशन इज द मैनिफेस्टेशन ऑफ परफेक्शन ऑलरेडी इन मैन। हमें बहुत खुशी और गर्व है कि मारवाड़ी यूनिवर्सिटी में हम शुरू से विद्यार्थियों के कौशल्य को संवारने का और निखारने का कार्य हमारी विभिन्न प्रवृत्तियों द्वारा बखूबी कर रहे हैं। हमारा आज का ये कार्यक्रम भी उसी दिशा में हमारा एक मजबूत कदम है। तो आइए आज के इस कार्यक्रम की शुरुआत करते हैं। मैं निवेदन करूंगा सभी मेहमान और महानुभावों को दीप प्रागट्य के लिए हमारे साथ जुड़े। थैंक यू वेरी मच। दीप प्रागट्य और प्रार्थना के बाद आइए सुनते हैं एक भजन हमारे इंटरनेशनल स्टूडेंट्स द्वारा। मैं निवेदन करूंगा फ्रांसिस, विक्टोरियन, एनी और लुकास को भजन प्रस्तुत करने के लिए।
Hello.
Hello.
हेलो।
वैष्णव जाने तो तेने कहिए जे, फिर पराई जानी रे। वैष्णव जाने तो तेने कहिए जे, फिर पराई जानी रे। पर दुखे उपकार करे तो ये, पर दुखे उपकार करे तो ये, मन अभिमान न आने रे। वैष्णव जाने तो तेने कहिए। सकल लोकमा सौने वंदे, निदान करे तेनी रे। Sakalalokuma Saune Vande Nida Nakare Tenire Vache Kache Mana Nischay Rakhe Vache Kache Mana Nischay Rakhe Dan Dan Janani Tenire Vaishnava Janito Tene Kariye Je Pide Parai Janire Vaishnava Janito Tene Kariye Vaishnava Janito Tenere Kaiye Vaishnava Janito Tenere Kaiye.
Thank you very much. Unity in diversity has always been a strength of Marwadi University, and MU music team is one of the examples of such an initiative. We are thankful to the students and Mr. Malo Maru, the music teacher, and his team. Now, to grace this occasion today, we have with us distinguished guests and dignitaries. We would like to welcome them with a huge round of applause. I would first like to welcome Shri Rajeev Chandrashekhar, Honorable Minister of State for Skill Development and Entrepreneurship and Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India, with a huge round of applause. I would like to introduce Sir. Shri Rajeev Chandrashekhar, a former chip designer, is currently serving as the Union Minister of State in the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology and Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. He has been in public service for the last 16 years. As a technology entrepreneur, he is known as one of the pioneers who built the Indian telecom sector and established India's biggest cellular network in India. His telecom startup, BPL Mobile, became a unicorn when the word unicorn was not even coined. With an experience of over 3 decades in technology, he is considered to be one of the leading minds on technology in India. As a minister, he has been advocating and leading the Digital India program launched by Honorable PM in 2015. He is working towards implementing Honorable PM's vision of transforming India into a global skill hub. Sir, we are indeed privileged and honored to have you here with us. I would now like to request Shri Jeetubhai Chandarana, Honorable Co-founder and Vice President, Marwadi University, to welcome Sir with a 3D printed Adi Yogi by our students. One of our students, Vishal Kanzaria, MBA students, has created this 3D printed Adi Yogi in-house, sir. I would now like to request Professor Dr. Sandeep Sancheti, Honorable Provost, Marwadi University, to present a painting prepared by our students to Minister, sir. Student of Art Club, Arshi Sharma from IT Engineering has prepared this painting in-house. Thank you very much, sir. May I now request Shri Ketanbhai Marwadi, Honorable Founder and President, Marwadi University, to present a book to Shri Rambhai Mokaria, Honorable Member of Parliament. We welcome you, sir. May I now request Shri Jeetubhai Chandarana, Honorable Co-founder and Vice President, Marwadi University, to welcome Shri Mohanbhai Kundaria, Honorable Member of Parliament, with a book. Thank you. May I now request Shri Jeetbhai Marwadi, Honorable Trustee, Marwadi University, to welcome Shri Hiranmayi Mahanta, CEO iHub with a book. Thank you so much. We welcome Shri Ketan Bhai Marwadi, Honorable Founder and President Marwadi University, with a huge round of applause. We also welcome Shri Jeetu Bhai Chandarana, Honorable Co-Founder and Vice President Marwadi University, Shri Jeet Bhai Marwadi, Honorable Trustee Marwadi University, Shri Naresh Jadeja Sir, Honorable Registrar Marwadi University, the Deans, Directors, HODs, faculty members, and dear students. We welcome you all. May I now request Professor Dr. Sandeep Sancheti, Honorable Provost, to address the gathering.
Namaskar and a very good afternoon to everyone present here. Very respected chief guest of today's function, Shri Rajeev Chandrashekhar ji, Honorable Minister of State for Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, and also for the Electronics and Information Technology of Government of India. Our very distinguished guests on the dais, Shri Rambhai Mukaria ji, the Member of Rajya Sabha, Member of Parliament Rajya Sabha from the Gujarat, Shri Mohan Bhai Kundaria ji, the Member of Lok Sabha from Rajkot City, Shri Kamlesh Bhai Mirani ji, the President of BJP Rajkot City, Shri Pradeep Dav ji, the Mayor of Rajkot City, our own very distinguished Shri Ketan Bhai Marwadi Sahab, Founder and President of Marwadi University, Shri Jeetu Bhai Chandarana ji, Co-Founder and also the Vice President of the University, Shri Jeet ji Marwadi, the Member of the Trust Society, other dignitaries present, leaders and officials of the government, also the members, representatives from the government of Gujarat, particularly Hiranmoy ji, and also the faculty, students, and most importantly, the innovators and entrepreneurs who have all assembled here today. A very warm welcome to you all. Though my team has already welcomed all of us, but I think it's my duty before I say a few words to welcome everyone present here, because today is a very, very special day. It's a red letter day in the history of Marwadi University when so many distinguished leaders and people's representatives are together with us, present in this hall, on this campus, on this platform for a very, very noble cause of our country, of our students, and of our future generations. And that is why today we are interacting with a platform to discuss New India for Young India. And no one could have been better than Shri Rajeev Chandrashekhar ji to lead us into those deliberations and understand it more, because he's the one who has seen all those facets. He has gone through those cycles as has been introduced. He has been an entrepreneur, he has been a politician, he has been a policy planner, he has been a doer, and he has done a lot of societal and other works from time to time, as many of us know. He is the one who is in his third term in the Rajya Sabha as a member of Parliament of Rajya Sabha. And therefore that itself speaks volumes about his initiatives which he has taken in various domains. So we are very blessed today to host all of you and to host our experts for this program and this activity, which is nothing but an interactive session, a fireside chat by Shri Rajeev Chandrashekhar ji. I'm sure you're all craving to talk to him. You're all wanting to know from him his successes, his challenges, and the future vision, which is something very important for all of us. So we are indebted to him, to our chief guest, Shri Rajeev Chandrashekhar Sahab, for sparing his valuable time and to be with us and to be with our students today. I'll request all my friends here in the front to join hands to once again give a warm welcome to Shri Chandrashekhar Sahab. Also, I'd like to extend my welcome to all the dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, because they also keep guiding us and playing their role in making Marwadi University more fertile in terms of what it wants to deliver and showcase. And this is an excellent opportunity for us to catalyze our efforts and also to help the people of the region to further scale up, to do well and to achieve more quality and maybe more presence nationally and internationally. I'm sure we will remember this kind of an interaction for a long time, as this will be our motive, the guests who are here for the first time. And I must say that we are a young university with close to 6.25 years of presence. We were founded in 2016, but we are a force to reckon with. We today enjoy a status called Center of Excellence given by the government of Gujarat only in this January at the hands of Shri Jitubhai Wagani, who was also to be here today, but unfortunately he couldn't come because of, we are told that cabinet meeting mostly located in the neighborhood of Ahmedabad itself. We are also very proud that we are the Gujarat state's first NAC A+ rated institution, which also speaks about our quality and our branding and our positioning, that right from beginning we have been doing so well. Sir, you have just now witnessed the performance of our international students. We are very proud to tell you countries, and they do so much of proud to us from time to time. We are one of the best performers in Government of India initiative called Study in India initiative, which was started some 3-4 years back in right earnest, though it existed earlier also. But Government of India, with huge expectations and drive, started Study in India, and we are one.
India as a nation, Indians as a people, when we are now creating more than 100 unicorns during COVID, more than 75,000 startups, we are the fastest growing economy in the world. We have received the highest FDI in the world. And at the same time, America's economy is in a mess. UK is in a 20% inflation. And China is on the 6th lockdown. And when you put ourselves rightfully in the platform of nations, automatically all things Indian become things to be in awe and respect of, including our culture, including our history, including who we are, including what we celebrate. So economic strength, technological strength are the most important ways to be respected in the world of today. And for us to be recognized as a country, civilizational country, and a country with a huge heritage and history of people, of rulers, of festivals, of celebrations, we had to become economically strong for people to notice us. And that is what in the last 8 years, that journey we have traveled. And I think today, after COVID especially, the world looks at India with awe and respect, and the world looks at everything Indian with a great deal of interest and respect.
Thank you, sir. My question is, at an early stage of your life, you were an architecture of a CPU. So how did you manage to do it when the networking was the greatest challenge?
No, Anjali, I got out of university and I was a prolific coder, and one of the things that I do when I go to universities nowadays to tell everybody, every young student, that regardless of what degree you get, you must graduate with 1 or 2 skills that you're very good at. Fortunately for me, nobody gave me the advice when I was a student, but fortunately for me, when I studied, I became a very good coder. And that coding capability led me to Intel. There was a legendary gentleman called Vinod Dham, who's still alive, and he's a famous name in the Silicon Valley. He hired me into Intel. He got me there. And he put me immediately on the 486 team. And very quickly from there moved me into the CPU architecture team of the Pentium.
Okay.
And the Pentium turns out, I did not know it then. Of course, nobody knows it when you're working on it. Turned out to be a very, very huge, big milestone in the evolution of CISC processors. And that gave me, let me say, the recognition or the, whatever you want to call it, the confidence to move on. So it was, I don't want to pretend that it was very difficult and it was challenging and I climbed a mountain and I walked 25 miles, none of that. It came very instinctively to me. I got a break, but I did take that break and that opportunity that I got and worked very hard in becoming successful there.
Thank you, sir. That was truly insightful. My next question is, sir, can you please elaborate and tell us more about your ventures? You have an absolute thrilling entrepreneurial journey.
No, so I don't do that anymore. I did that for a while. By 2016, I had exited all my commercial interests and I am fully now in public life. But when I did invest, I built some few franchises in media, in media tech, in technology, in aviation tech, so not so much as aviation, and also mobile and mobile cellular. So those were the areas I was interested in then. That was 2016, 2006 to 2016, 1 decade of that. But today the world is very different, and today the investment opportunities and the opportunities per se are very, very, very different. And I think in the emerging tech area, deep tech area, semiconductor, artificial intelligence, blockchain, Web 3.0, these are the areas of the future that your friends and your colleagues will be looking at investing in.
Okay, sir, so when you were working on your venture actually, what were the obstacles and challenges you faced during your journey? And how did you overcome it and turn the venture into a successful one?
ये मुश्किल क्वेश्चन है क्योंकि मैंने कोई डॉक्यूमेंट तो रखा नहीं है उसका कि what are the difficulties. But I will say this, and this is the question that has been asked me, is it more difficult then than it is now to be a successful entrepreneur? And I will say this, it is easier now to be an entrepreneur than it was then, but it is more difficult to be a successful entrepreneur now than it was then. And the reason is, today, whether I go to Marwadi University or Saurashtra University or Ganpat University or indeed any university in India, I meet hundreds of students who are already 1 foot into entrepreneurship. मेरे टाइम में वो था नहीं. मेरे टाइम में the default was नौकरी ढूंढो, टाटा बिरला में जॉब पाओ या सरकार में गवर्नमेंट में you take a job or you go abroad for studies. And so people like me who chose entrepreneurship were the rarity, were the exception rather than the rule. Today it is the rule rather than the exception. And therefore it is more competitive. It is easier to enter entrepreneurship, but it is far more difficult to be successful in it than it was in my time.
Totally, sir, we totally agree to that statement. So we know Gujarat is a land for business. And talking about Rajkot, we work in various domains. So can you tell us how we can evolve this industry into a manufacturing hub? How can sorry for that. So how can we attract more startups based on manufacturing? So how can we bring that startup culture to the manufacturing?
This is a good question. I think manufacturing today is poised to become a very different type of manufacturing after 5G has been launched. As you know, on 1st of October, our Prime Minister has launched 5G. We are one of the few countries now in the world that has had 5G, and we are even amongst the fewer countries in the world that has its own independent 5G technology. Now, 5G is going to have a transformational effect on manufacturing and be the gateway to Industry 4.0. More and more MSMEs, small enterprises, small manufacturing companies are going to find that to compete with in global markets, which they can now because of digital technology, you can sell your product sitting in Rajkot, you can sell it in USA or wherever you want to sell it because of the reach of digital technology. But more and more for quality, for efficiency, for bandwidth in terms of volumes, you will need to adapt your manufacturing to Industry 4.0, more and more sensors, more and more technology-driven manufacturing, rather than what the models were in the past. So I think Rajkot, I've seen this in many parts of Gujarat, where you have strength in manufacturing, you have a critical mass in manufacturing. For example, automobile ancillaries, there's a very strong supply chain in Rajkot. To basically take that and innovate and bring Industry 4.0 there and make all the MSMEs and all the ancillary manufacturers Industry 4.0 enabled is what the startup ecosystem can aim for in terms of opportunity. I'm not saying that is the exhaustive list of opportunities. There are, I'm sure, more. I've only been here for 2 days, so I don't know exactly what the depth and scope of it is. But clearly, existing capabilities, existing industries, digitalizing it, means there is a tremendous number of opportunities for startups.
Thank you, sir. You know, entrepreneurship is an important skill in business, but many students coming from a non-business background, I think like it's a rocket science. So what, according to you, a budding entrepreneur should do in a world where they are not aware of?
So this is a question I'm asked a lot, only, and I completely agree with you. It is not rocket science. Just like you are in basketball, and you will also agree, basketball is not rocket science, but basketball is about repeated practice. It is about drills. It's about fitness. It is about many things that make you good at that sport.
Yes, sir.
You agree with that?
Yes,
So
I do.
in entrepreneurship, obviously the entrepreneur has to learn extensively about the domain he or she is going to operate in. So for example, if I'm getting into Industry 4.0, I am in Rajkot, I want to start a startup, I must have at the very minimum in-depth knowledge about the space that I'm getting into. That is akin to your practice. You have to know more and more, read more and more, know knowledgeable, and interact with people who can guide you, teach you, learn, and you can learn in turn about what that space represents. The second attribute that is required is not a textbook attribute, no presentation, all that. It is about dogged determination and focus.
Exactly.
If you know what you are going to do and you know it well, the pitfalls and the strengths, and if you have a dogged, totally determined focus effort on that, 80% of the recipe is ready.
Yeah.
आप समझे? उसके बाद 20% थोड़ा luck की ज़रूरत होगा, capital, आपका mentoring ठीक है नहीं है, आपने जो decisions ले लिए, choice ले लिए, गलत किए, you may have made a wrong decision. But even if you fail, and that is the key thing to entrepreneurship, do not be afraid to fail. Exactly. Even if you fail, what is the worst that can happen out of it? You fail. You start again. But what is the huge benefit out of doing this and including failing is that you learn so much that you go back to the basketball analogy, that you come out of the failure as a good three-point shooter because you have practiced it. You failed and failed and failed. You never made the three-pointer, and suddenly you realize you've got the, muscle memory, and you can do the three-pointer. So it's like that. I think if anybody says it's rocket science, it is not. If anybody says you can learn it from a textbook, you cannot. That's my view. Your professors might disagree with me, and so I respectfully will disagree that entrepreneurship can be taught, but it certainly can be learnt. And learning is something that depends on the tenacity and the character and the personality of the person who wants to be an entrepreneur.
Exactly, sir. Once we fail, we will only learn from that experience.
Exactly.
And sir, what is India doing to push females to enter into the entrepreneurship field? Because I am also working on it.
No, I don't think India needs to push females or males into entrepreneurship. I think the females and males, men and women, are totally bitten by the entrepreneurial bug. I say that the Honorable Prime Minister has created such a environment and climate that youngsters, whether you are in Kohima, Nagaland, or Srinagar, Jammu and Kashmir, or in Rajkot, or Surat, or Calicut in Kerala, or wherever I go, and I have gone to so many colleges over the last 1 year, every youngster today has a spark in his eye and wants to have some idea that he or she wants to implement. It is true that it is easier for men. Okay, so let me just back up a little bit. I want to give you 2 examples of where women are far outshining men. And then I'll come to women as entrepreneurs. In the technology sector for which I am a minister, in the 10 lakh new jobs that were created in the last 1 year, 48% were women. So it's 48-52. You only have 2% to make up. In the electronics manufacturing sector, and I recently went and inaugurated a factory in Chennai that is going to make the Apple 14 phone, 72% of the workforce were women. 72%. एक दिन आएगा जब men will ask to be included. So this is the way the train is moving. Yes, I do agree that in entrepreneurship, in the 100 unicorns, we have had fewer women than men. This is correct. But recently I'm sure you know Naika, and you know Falguni Nair. She's a second and third time entrepreneur, and she made it big this time. So once you get an icon, more and more women would be inspired by that story to say, look, if she can do it, I can do it. And she has now laid a path. And I personally believe in the coming years there'll be many, many more women, successful women entrepreneurs in India, and women are unicorns.
Thank you, sir. From the biography I've read of yours, I saw that you made a transition from entrepreneurship to politics.
Correct.
So how did you manage to adapt to the new environment and challenges?
It was not easy. I can assure you कि मेरे पहले दिन when I went for swearing in, I was Rambhai है यहाँ पर. I went in like a student going to the first day in college or school. मेरा पूरा shirt भीगा हुआ था sweat से. तो ये you have to understand that you're making a transition. In politics, there are many, many, many smart, bright people who know so much about things that you have no idea of. I spent so many years in technology, and you tend to believe that you know everything about everything, because technology में हम समझने लगता है कि हम सब कुछ जानते हैं. And then you enter politics and you understand that there is such a big India where there is so much diversity, there are so many different people, there are so many different challenges. And you realize that you're back to square one in terms of learning. So that is how I took it. I took it as a learning exercise. I took it, like I said to you, on what should be a checklist. I wrote on the top of my checklist that I want to be successful in public life. Even though everybody said कोई businessman अगर politics में आता है, वो तो flop होगा ही. क्यों हमारे time में काफ़ी flamboyant businessman थे parliament में, namely Vijay Mallya, who had demolished the idea of politics. तो ऐसे भी heroes थे वहाँ पर. तो ऐसा general conventional wisdom was people who came from an entrepreneurial background would not succeed in public life. I am glad that I think my colleagues think I have done reasonably well. And my Prime Minister chose me on the 7th of July 2021 to join his team. And I think that is a huge honor for me. And I think it is one way of saying that I have done okay in my public life.
Definitely, sir. As you mentioned COVID, after COVID, the work life of every person is already changed. In the 2 years of COVID, we have introduced the new factor, work from home. So do you think this work from home is going to continue for rest of our life, or it was just for COVID?
I don't know about rest of your life, but I can surely think that work from home and remote working and digital working is going to be part of our landscape for the foreseeable near term. वो 10 साल होगा, 20 साल होगा, 25 साल होगा, ये नहीं बता सकता मैं. और कितना intensity और mix क्या होगा, digital or physical का, this also I will not be able to guess. But it is clear now, collaborative, digital teaming and working is a new normal. Education is going online. Skilling is going online. Work is going online. Coding is going online. Collaborative projects are being done online. So I think that is the future. And as the internet gets more resilient, as 5G and 6G makes wireless internet much more responsive and latencies low, I think this model will continue to remain. And I think it will just, as a matter of fact, I'm willing to hazard a guess and I'm willing to bet that this will expand. The domain of remote working will expand.
So, as I was told that I'm doing this side, I was looking to your one or two interviews on you recently passed a statement that India will achieve the target of 300 billion US dollars in electronic manufacturing, which is currently of 75 billion US dollars. What is your detailed idea of the statement?
Thank you for asking the question. It's a good question. आपको, you'll be amazed to know that in 2014, when Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji became Prime Minister, the total electronics production in India was 1 lakh crores. Okay, and so that is one number. And 90% of all mobile phones that India used were imported. That means in 2014, if you had got a phone, it was an imported phone. In 2022, 97% of all mobile phones used in India are manufactured in India. In 2014, India exported shunya mobile phones. 2022 mein, we are exporting over 50,000 crores of mobile phones. कौन से mobile phones? Apple, Samsung, all top-end phones are going to markets in Europe, in the US, and the Middle East. So this is the second point I want to tell you. To your point, and this is the target that the Honorable Prime Minister has laid out, that by 25-26 we will do 26 lakh crores of mobile phones, 26 lakh crores of electronics, which is 300 billion. Now, what is amazing about that number? As I said, in 2014, it was 1 lakh crores. 10 years later, in 2025, it is 26 lakh crores. You're all students, now do the math. It is 26 times growth in 1 decade. And that is the power of New India. That is the India into which you are entering as into the workforce or as entrepreneurs. It is a huge distance that India has traveled in the last 8 years in terms of our electronics capabilities. And our idea now, the Prime Minister's idea, is to broaden the electronics ecosystem and deepen it. Broaden का मतलब है मोबाइल फोन में हमारा सक्सेस है, अभी हम कंप्यूटर, लैपटॉप, टैबलेट और सर्वर्स भी बनाएंगे. We will make wearables and hearables. We will make components. And deepen means we will make the real heart and soul of these electronics products, semiconductors. And you are in Gujarat, you should be proud that the first semiconductor plant, and I predict it will be the most successful semiconductor plant in Asia over time, will be in Dholera, Gujarat. That is also coming up in the next 2 to 3 years.
Thank you, sir. So I want to ask you about some recent activities going on. As a youth nowadays are involving and getting more and more in addicted to various kind of addiction. So how can we save the youth draining towards that and make them positive towards the side of our Honorable Prime Minister is insisting?
Look, I think it is our job as to show you the world of opportunities. It is our duty and mission to make those opportunities real and easily available to you. It is also, in some sense, our duty to tell you that if you go down this road, you will be prosperous, you will be happy, you can do many things with your life and for your families, etc. etc. अच्छा, ये सब बोलने के बाद आपको if you are determined to make a failure out of your life, there is very little I can do or anybody can do. So I don't want to sound patronizing, I don't want to sound like an old man, I don't want to sound like a preachy person. But in the world today, there are going to be people who are successful and there are people who are going to be not successful. The people who are successful are people who see the opportunity in front of them, go full speed on those opportunities and capitalize on those opportunities. New India में, young India के लिए बहुत सारे opportunities हैं. अगर आप उसको छोड़ छाड़ कर you want to go do something else, it is at your own risk and at peril of your own future. I suggest you don't do it. Addiction is a bad thing, whether it is addiction to the internet, addiction to Instagram, addiction to Facebook, addiction to anything. Anything in excess is bad. So you live a good life, life-work balance, and see that success follows.
Okay, sir. Little diversion. I really want to ask your views and opinion about the freebie going on in the political side. So please, can you clear the views to the new generation too?
No, good. I'm good. Glad you asked the question. I'm assuming a lot of you are first-time voters, and you also want to experience the power of democracy, and you should. I was also a first-time voter once. I can assure you that voting gives you a tremendous power of empowerment, tremendous sense of empowerment, tremendous feeling of being part of the democratic process. So, in the forthcoming elections, in 2024 national elections, you should vote. On this issue of freebie versus this thing, I'll tell you very simply this. There are a lot of people who take shortcuts in life. They think shortcuts in life give them instant gratification and instant success. लेकिन शॉर्टकट से जो भी होता है, जो भी करते हैं, वो doomed to fail है क्योंकि after some time it collapses. India, after many years, is now on a path where we are building things. We are building a sound future. I want to share one data point with you. This year, we are investing, India is investing 7.5 lakh crores in building modern infrastructure. Because of all our robust growth and robust economy and the investments that have made our economy the fastest growing economy in the world, this year for the first time, our tax collections are 25% more than target. This year, because we have so much of money in the government is able to modernize our armed forces, build better infrastructure. और किसी ने चाइना ने किसी ने आंख दिखाया तो हमने बोला देखिए डोंट डू इट उसके लिए हमारे पास ताकत है फाइनेंशियल स्ट्रेंथ है अच्छा इसके अगेंस्ट आपके पास कोई आकर कहता है देखिए मैं आपको 2 मिठाई दूंगा आज मुफ्त कल तीसरा मिठाई दूंगा और फिर 5 दिन के बाद पता चला कि उसके पास मिठाई के लिए पैसा नहीं है क्योंकि उसने बैंकरप्ट कर दिया है सरकार को तो मिठाई खाएंगे 5 दिन के लिए या मिठाई खाएंगे पूरे लाइफ के लिए सो इट इज अ चॉइस दैट यंग इंडियंस हैव टू मेक आर यू गोइंग टू बी डिस्ट्रैक्टेड बाय द रेवड़ी types of offers now or do you want to build for yourself a strong country a super economic power and be participants in that kind of a country and that kind of prosperity or get swayed by these kind of shortcuts that is for you to decide मैंने तो decide कर लिया है I'll tell you later what I've decided but you know my decision
The young generation is very smart enough to decide what they want.
Very good, well done, well said.
So coming back to the technology sector, Digital India is one of the most successful campaigns that government has led. So what were the points and decisions that contributed to make this campaign a successful one?
I think if you go back to 2015 when the Honorable Prime Minister launched Digital India, he laid out 3 goals. And these 3 goals explains why it's successful. He first said, technology must change the lives of people and improve their lives. And therefore, governance should improve and democracy should improve. That was his first goal. कि दूर दूर तक जो Indians बसे हैं, they were living, technology must connect them better to their government. Technology must make their life easier. The second thing he said is that through technology and through innovation, our economy must grow. Our youngsters must get more and more opportunities to innovate and start businesses. And the third and very important one in the context of the 5G launch on October 1, he said in very clear terms, 30 साल से इंडिया इज अ कंज्यूमर ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजीज. हम बाहर से लेके आ रहे थे. माइक्रोसॉफ्ट वर्ड बाहर से, 4G के टेक्नोलॉजी बाहर से, सेमीकंडक्टर बाहर से, मोबाइल फोन बाहर से. And India should now be a producer of technologies. We should lead the future of technology. And so if you look at the report card of all these three, on one I told you today that at one point in time people used to say 85 rupees is lost due to leakage and corruption. And today, through a press of a button, every Indian gets 100 rupees meant for him. It gets delivered to his account without leakage and without corruption. In the second one, you are seeing hundreds of startups. The economy is growing. We will do $1 trillion digital economy. And you are seeing with 5G today, in the third bucket, that for the first time in the history of India, we are launching wireless technology, which has a large part of it is designed in India, and large part of it is made in India. वो दिन चले गए जहाँ पर when we had to import everything, including the screw and the screwdriver. So Digital India has been deeply transformational, and if it was not for Digital India, COVID के time में जो हमने bounce back किया है, what we bounce back as a nation, how our economy bounced back, how medicines were delivered, how ration was delivered, how poor people got their money in their bank accounts, none of this would have been possible. I'll share a joke with you since you asked me that question. UP election के time में I was campaigning and I met an old person, and I just sat and I asked him, what do you think ये अगर नरेंद्र मोदी जी नहीं होते कोविड के टाइम पे क्या होता? He's a wise man and he was measured in his response. He said, ऐसा है सर, 10-15% को लोगों को तो वैक्सीन मिल जाता था क्योंकि वो खरीद लेते थे बाहर से, बाकी किसी को नहीं मिलता, और इसमें कमीशन भी खा लेते थे, और we would have been in utter chaos. So all that has been enabled because we invested from 14 to 1920 in digital technology and digital India. And in my opinion, it has been an absolute example to the rest of the world. Oh, and by the way, I want to tell you, जो भी हमारे products हैं जो India stack कहलाता है, now the world's countries want to adopt it. So all the digitization, all the digital India solutions that were created in those 6 years, now countries around the world say, can you please give it to us? And we are very openly, Prime Minister has said, share it with them.
Surely, sir, Digital India campaign has already helped so much in the startup ecosystem. So recently, our Honorable Prime Minister inaugurated the release of 5G network. So what do you think this new generation of internet holds for us?
Oh, it's a totally, I have said this, and I like to use this phrase, that 5G represents the first step in the future of wireless internet. It is the beginning of the future. And I am not exaggerating. 5G is going to transform wireless internet as you know it. It is going to transform internet as you know it. And because all of the countries in the world are at the same starting point of 5G, all of the use cases of 5G, health, education, skilling, transportation, agriculture, all of these have relevant use cases. Those apps can be built at scale by Indian entrepreneurs. आपने पूछा कि क्या what are the opportunities? 5G and the ecosystem around 5G represents one of the biggest opportunities for youngsters today. And by the way, this is not for ENC and electronics alone. It is also for somebody who's doing a Bachelor of Arts. You can create applications in education around 5G. If you're studying medicine, you can create application in healthcare and wellness around 5G. So a tremendous number of use cases that 5G throws up, and it's a whole new 3, 4, 5 years of innovation ecosystem that 5G will spawn.
Indeed, sir. 5G is really a blessing to us.
Yes.
Sir, with rise in digitalization, with more and more internet users daily, how do you think India can manage and increase its reach in India?
No, on the internet, let me say, we are today, India is 82 crore Indians are connected to the internet. We are the largest democracy, largest connected democracy in the world. By 25-26, through a combination of BharatNet and 5G, we will have all 120 crore Indians connected to the internet, and we will simply become the largest connected nation in the world. The internet traditionally has meant good. It means connecting people, bringing people together. You have international students here, they can keep touch with their families back home. So traditionally, the perspective about the internet is that it represents good. It's a force for good. But over the last 5-7 years, the internet has also begun to represent harm, evil, criminality, doxing, cyberbullying, trolling. So we are moving into an area where we want to expand the internet, but we want the internet to always remain open, safe and trusted, and accountable. So it is clear that the internet will continue to be a powerful enabler, but the laws and policies around the internet will be much more modern, and you'll see that in the coming years. And you will also realize that the basic nature of the internet also will go through a disruptive change in the coming years with Web3 and crypto and things like that. And we will see a lot of change around the internet and its architecture in itself.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your wonderful insights. Your journey has been truly inspiring to all of the students. So at last, ending this question answer, I want to ask you what were the lessons you went through your journey and you would like to share all the, so that we not mess around with our life and just be the good person as you are.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if you should be a good person as I am. Be better than me, first of all. No, I think you said it yourself. Don't mess up the opportunities. Work hard. Focus on the opportunities that are there, because these opportunities are real. And I will add one specific input. आप degree कर रहे हैं, you're studying whatever degree you're doing. During the course of the degree, do some skill certification programs. Learn some skills. Knowledge your degree gives you, what skilling gives you. So when you enter the workforce as a graduate student of commerce, arts, biotechnology, engineering, computer science, whatever, you should of course have knowledge, but you should also have some skills. And that will position you very well to be successful in the emerging, changing workforce and the opportunities in startups and entrepreneurship that India represents, New India represents.
Thank you, sir, for the wonderful conversation we had. Now I hand over the mic to Dr. Abani.
Yeah, thank you, Harsh, Anjali, Dhwani. Thank you for your time, and thank you for not giving me a hard time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Audience, if anybody in the audience has some questions to ask to sir.
नमस्कार सर, मेरा नाम अभिनव सिंह है. My question is that in implementing some policies or anything which a government wants, they face or the nation face what we say as a change in government, and then the delay in implementing policies, or rather put that policy in different bag. Sometimes we have seen that the policies have been in vain for more than a decade. So how do you cope up with this, and what is your suggestions when India is facing that the regime changes and the policy gets stalled, and by the time the policy gets implemented.
इसका आंसर बड़ा सिंपल है कि you should make sure, Indian citizens should make sure, voters should make sure that there is continuity in policy making. And the best way to do that is either to make sure that you don't have ideologically opposed people who come and create these disruptions. So my own simple point is I usually make a presentation that says, what is the most important thing for young Indians today? You want more and more opportunities to grow and prosper. For that, you need a strong economy. For that, you need strong policies and strong economic policies. And for that, you need strong leadership. Now, you keep repeating that mantra wherever you go. आप कहाँ से हैं?
सर मैं यूपी से हूँ, लखनऊ से सर.
हाँ, तो आप लखनऊ में आए, लोगों ने बोल दिया ना कि कंसिस्टेंसी चाहिए, इसीलिए तो 2 बार योगी जी को वहाँ पे वोट मिला है. आप देखिए, मैं आपको बता दूँ, आई एम नॉट बीइंग फैसिशियस, आई एम बीइंग सीरियस. आई एम मूल रूप से केरल से. अच्छा, I ask a simple question to people from Kerala कि आपके 400 मील दूर पास में चेन्नई में कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, इन्वेस्टमेंट के पीछे इन्वेस्टमेंट आ रहा है और केरल में कोई इन्वेस्टमेंट नहीं आता है. क्यों नहीं आता है? क्योंकि उसका 5 साल में एक पार्टी और दूसरे 5 साल में मार्क्सिस्ट. So there is a definite cost that the local economy and the people have incur when there is this political volatility. तो मेरा यही है कि आप बस हमें सपोर्ट करते रहिए. हम नए इंडिया का इस जर्नी को आगे लेगा रहेंगे. प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी का जो विजन है कि हमें इकोनॉमिक पावर बनाना है, आप सबको प्रॉस्पेरिटी का एक अपॉर्चुनिटी मिले, इसी रास्ते पे हम काम करते रहेंगे.
धन्यवाद सर.
Thank you very much, sir. We can take only one more question now. Last question from the audience.
Thank you very much, sir, for the opportunity. Sir, during your mission, you talked about...
I can't hear you.
Thank you, sir. During your submission, you talked about getting a more connected India, where everyone would be on the internet. And also, you made us aware that your initiative is aware of the dangers of the internet. My question to you, sir, is how is your initiative going to cater for cyber hygiene and cyber hygiene practices, since everyone is going to be connected? And we need those practices to safeguard ourselves from being attacked on the internet. Thank you.
So you're using a phrase, Gene, which is a very polite phrase. We refer to this as user harm. And like I said to your colleagues who were questioning me, our principles and our expectations about the internet have 3 boundary conditions. One is that the internet should always be open, which means no big tech company, no government of the world should control the internet. It should be free and open. Number 2 is that the internet, and especially in the Indian context where 1.2 billion Indians are going to use it, there are going to be women, there are going to be children, there are going to be elderly, that the internet is always a safe and trusted space. And the third is that on the internet, every consumer has a relationship with the platform of accountability. i.e., if you are a large tech, big tech, medium tech, small tech platform, you are accountable to the consumer or the citizen. And in India's case, it's called the digital Nagrik. For this, we have a whole strategy of a new law called the Digital India Act. We will make it very, very difficult for those who try and commit user harm on the Indian internet. We will persevere, we will pursue them, and we will prosecute them. Our duty to our citizens is to make sure that the internet is safe and trusted. Because there is a 12-year-old child on the internet using it for education. There is a woman who's using it for her own work. There are elderly people who are using it, so therefore there is no space on the Indian internet for those who want to commit criminality or any kind of user harm, including doxing, gaslighting, cyber trolling, cyber fraud, all of that. So we have the tools. We didn't have the legislation. The legislation is 22 years old. We are coming up with a brand new legislation by the end of this year or early next year.
Thank you so much, sir. With this, we end this interaction here. We are sure that our young students, aspiring innovators, will surely get inspired from this discussion. May I now request Shri Naresh Jadeja, sir, Honorable Registrar, to extend the vote of thanks.
Thank you very much, sir. It's indeed pleasure to have you with us today, sir. हम आज बहुत भाग्यशाली है कि इस माहौल के अंदर 4 ऐसे महान व्यक्ति हमारे साथ हाजिर हैं जिन्होंने शून्य में से सर्जन किया है. श्री राजीव चंद्रशेखर जी, श्री राम भाई मोकरिया, श्री केतन भाई मारवाड़ी, श्री जीतू भाई चंदाराणा, इन सब ने मिलकर हज़ारों जॉब पैदा की है, हज़ारों का रेवेन्यू जनरेट किया है. तय दिल से आप सबका हम शुक्रिया अदा करते हैं. साथ ही हम तय दिल से शुक्रिया अदा करते हैं गुजरात सरकार, शिक्षण विभाग, श्री जीतू भाई वाघाणी और डिंडोर सर का, जिन्होंने हमें ये अपॉर्चुनिटी दी. हिरणमय मेहता सर और कंप्लीट आई हब टीम, जो कि अगले आने वाले समय में हमें और ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा सपोर्ट करती रहेगी. हमारे प्रिंसिपल सेक्रेटरी PS हैदर सर और कमिश्नर टेक्निकल एजुकेशन, कमिश्नर हायर एजुकेशन का हम आभार व्यक्त करते हैं. और साथ ही हम हर एक स्टूडेंट का तहे दिल से आभार व्यक्त करते हैं. थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर बीइंग ए पार्ट ऑफ इट. विल स्टैंड नाउ फॉर द नेशनल एंथम.
Thank you very much. With this, we end this program.